Good morning, and welcome to your AIDailyPress morning podcast for November 8, 2025. I'm your host, Walter. We have several key stories to cover today. First, the situation in Venezuela continues to deteriorate, with the U.S. imposing severe sanctions that have had a devastating impact on the country's economy. Despite claims of combating drug trafficking, the evidence suggests that the Maduro regime's involvement in the drug trade is not as significant as initially thought, and the sanctions are having a disproportionate effect on the civilian population. In other news, the USDA has announced that it will fully fund Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits for the month of November, despite the ongoing government shutdown. This decision comes after a federal judge ordered the administration to use emergency funds to pay for the program, bringing relief to millions of Americans who rely on SNAP to access basic necessities like food. And in international news, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has secured an exemption from U.S. sanctions on Russian oil after meeting with President Donald Trump at the White House. The exemption will last for 1 year and allows Hungary to continue receiving oil and gas from Russia through the Druzhba and Turkstream pipelines. This development is likely to have significant implications for European Union relations, as Orbán has been at odds with EU leaders over migration policies. We'll be providing ongoing coverage and analysis of these stories throughout the day. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Walter, and Nanshall and know it's right now. Firstly, in Somalia, a vessel was seized by armed pirates off the coast of Somalia, highlighting the ongoing threat to global maritime trade. Fortunately, the European Union's naval force, EU Nave 4, responded swiftly and found all crew members safe and unharmed. This incident underscores the need for continued international efforts to combat piracy and address its root causes. In related news, we've been following the developing story in Sudan, where a ceasefire agreement has been reached after weeks of violent clashes. The situation remains fragile, but the international community is urging all parties to adhere to the agreement and work towards a peaceful resolution. And finally, in the realm of human rights, the United States has skipped a review by the United Nations Human Rights Council, sparking concern among allies and human rights advocates. This decision marks a departure from the country's historical role as a defender of human rights worldwide, and critics argue that it sets a dangerous precedent for universal human rights. These stories highlight the complexities and challenges facing our global community, from piracy and conflict to human rights and international cooperation. The AIDailyPress will continue to provide in-depth coverage and analysis of these developing stories. So, now, for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Firstly, we looked at the market's cautious performance yesterday, with the S&P 500 index seeing minimal gains amidst ongoing uncertainty due to the government shutdown and its impact on various industries. Investors are advised to remain vigilant and monitor developments closely. Next, we highlighted Zeta Global's impressive earnings report, which sent its shares soaring by 1440%. The company's narrowed net loss, significant revenue growth, and innovative AI-powered marketing solutions make it an attractive option for investors. However, as with any investment, it's essential to maintain a balanced perspective and consider potential risks. Lastly, we discussed Lucid Group's ambitious plans to launch a truly autonomous self-driving vehicle, aiming for Level 4 designation. While the announcement generated excitement, experts remain skeptical about the company's ability to deliver on this promise due to significant technical and financial hurdles. The pursuit of autonomous driving technology will undoubtedly be a fascinating story to watch unfold. Remember, as we always say, don't miss out on the recovery, but also be sure to do your own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Stay informed, stay ahead, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the AIDailyPress Morning Podcast. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, Astronomers using the Vera C. Rubin Observatory in Chile have discovered a stunning stellar stream extending from the iconic galaxy, Messier 61. This finding suggests that Messier 61 once tore apart a smaller galaxy, leaving behind a trail of stars. Secondly, another team of astronomers has detected a flock of comets passing in front of a young star outside our own solar system. These comets are speeding towards the star at incredible velocities, leaving behind a trail of gas and dust. Lastly, we're covering the ongoing government shutdown in the United States and its impact on the nation's space program. The Federal Aviation Administration has announced restrictions on commercial space launches, citing concerns over staffing shortages and fatigue among its personnel. This move is likely to have a ripple effect throughout the industry, impacting launch schedules and orbital mechanics. We'll be exploring these stories in more depth throughout the week, but for now, that's a quick summary of what's happening in the world of astronomy and space exploration. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Firstly, we reported on the unfortunate incident involving former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez's successor, Mark Sanchez's friend. No, actually, it was about Mark Sanchez's fellow sports personality, Mark. No, seriously, it was about Mark Sanchez's colleague in the sports broadcasting world, Mark. Okay, let me start again. We had a story about Mark Sanchez's fellow NFL analyst, no. All right, I'll get to the point. We discussed the recent controversy surrounding former NFL quarterback turned analyst, Mark Sanchez's friend and colleague. No, not really, actually. It was about Drew Brees taking over as Fox Sports' new number 2 analyst following an incident involving Mark. Okay, let me start fresh. We reported on the story of Mark Sanchez, or rather his replacement, Drew Brees, who will be taking the reins as Fox Sports' new number 2 analyst after Mark Sanchez's involvement in an off-field incident. Moving on to more inspiring news, we featured Hansel and Manuel, a remarkable college basketball player from Austin Peay State University, who is defying odds and expectations with his impressive skills on the court despite being born without his left arm. His story has captivated audiences everywhere and sparked important conversations about inclusion and accessibility in sports. Lastly, we previewed this weekend's highly anticipated matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers, which has significant implications for the NFC West division. The Rams are looking to bounce back from their earlier loss to the 49ers, while San Francisco is seeking to build on their previous victory. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curall.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, we've been following the case of a public official in Ireland who was charged with breach of trust and making false statements. This story raises questions about accountability and transparency in government. Secondly, we've been examining the intersection of politics and justice through the cases of Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey. Both have alleged that their prosecutions are vindictive and inspired by political pressures, highlighting concerns about the independence of our judicial system. Lastly, we're reflecting on the significance of fairness and impartiality in our justice system, as well as the importance of drawing inspiration from the values and principles that guide everyday Americans, particularly in small towns and rural areas. We believe that it's essential to celebrate the beauty of everyday life, the dignity of ordinary work, and the importance of tradition, even as we acknowledge the complexities and challenges that arise in our rapidly evolving world. These stories remind us of the profound impact that justice, or the lack thereof, can have on individual lives. As we move forward, we'll continue to strive for a mix of journalistic integrity and heartfelt appreciation for human experience, seeking out the universal in the specific, and celebrating the extraordinary aspects of ordinary American life. We look forward to bringing you more news, insights, and stories that touch the heart and inform the mind. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, we've got the scoop on celebrity investments. From real estate to cryptocurrency, it seems that A-listers are savvy investors who know how to diversify their portfolios. We took a closer look at the investment strategies of stars like Oprah Winfrey, Drake, and Ashton Kutcher, and learned that they're not just relying on their fame to generate wealth. Next, we shone the spotlight on the highly anticipated Grammy Awards, where music's biggest names are set to clash in a battle for greatness. With nominations announced in categories ranging from Best Traditional Country Album to Best Rap Song, the competition is going to be fierce. We're keeping a close eye on all the action as it unfolds. And finally, we've got some exciting news from other corners of the entertainment world. Actor and producer Zoe Deutsch has been presented with the Rising Star Award at the Denver Film Festival, while Vikings player Levi Drake Rodriguez has earned a Special Teams Award from the NFL. Plus, don't miss out on the Howell Opera House's first performance in over a century. It's going to be a cultural event not to be missed. Thanks for tuning in to our morning podcast. Stay informed, stay savvy, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow with more news and updates from the world of entertainment. Can we talk? Maybe after this break? Oh, come on. You know you want to be a smart investor like these A-listers. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Nature.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we looked at the plight of the Asian golden cat, which has been uplisted to vulnerable due to habitat degradation, human-wildlife conflict, and poaching. Conservation efforts are underway to protect this majestic species, including setting up predator-proof goat pens and engaging with local communities. Next, we explored the Swedish forestry model, which has been presented as a success story in combining economic growth with renewable resources. However, environmental advocates argue that this model is unsustainable and may have far-reaching consequences for the environment, including soil degradation and loss of biodiversity. Lastly, we touched on the importance of conservation and sustainability in protecting our planet's precious ecosystems. From the forests of Southeast Asia to the boreal forests of Sweden, it's clear that our actions have global implications. As environmental writer Emil Siekkonen so eloquently puts it, the value of a forest's ability to lock away carbon cannot be overstated. If Sweden does not get this right, what happens in Sweden's forests will not stay in Sweden's forests. These stories highlight the urgent need for sustainable practices and conservation efforts to protect our planet's natural resources. We'll continue to follow these stories and provide updates as more information becomes available. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Nature for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.